Well, folks, it's another 5 and 10 from CrashBay.com. Peter Sziklai from Tsawwassen Collision in British Columbia. Peter takes things in a slightly different direction, talks about his investment in R&D and how research and development has improved the client experience for his business. I'll let Peter tell the story. A couple of things we didn't get to in the interview: 4.9 star Google rating, aluminum certified, certified in several OEM brands, and all services under one roof. Enjoy the interview. Hey everybody, this is John Harvey from CrashBay.com. I have with me today Peter Sziklai from Tsawwassen Collision in British Columbia. Peter, welcome to your 5 and 10.
Good afternoon, John. I guess for you it's early evening in Ontario. When you say British Columbia, Tsawwassen Collision is in Tsawwassen, which is a neighborhood within Delta, puts us half an hour from Vancouver downtown. And if I tell people where we are, you look out my back door, you can see the causeway to Victoria. And as soon as I say that we're on the causeway to the Victoria Ferry, they know where we are.
Excellent. Thank you for pinpointing that for me so eloquently. I couldn't have done that on my own. So Peter, are you ready for your 5 and 10?
Sure.
Why don't you just start us out by telling us about the history of your business and just a brief introduction of yourself.
I come into the industry with a background completely out of the industry, but that was 35 years ago. So this is what I've been doing for 35 years. I'm going to leave out the first 30 years of that and go to an awakening around about 2014 or 2015, where I heard, and this story has been told by me before, is there was a fellow speaking at a CCIF conference, Rick Leos, who at that time was working for Toyota US. And he went on about how when he was running his own facility, how they were fixing millions of dollars worth of repairs a year. Everybody was happy. He was happy. His customers were happy. The dealers selling them parts were happy. Everybody was happy. And then he stopped talking and he said with an absolute angelic smile, he says, and we were fixing them all wrong.
Wow.
And what he meant by that was we weren't fixing them all wrong to make money, but we were fixing them all wrong because we didn't know. And so I said, whoa, there's something there. And then the next one, around about the same time, is Mary Barra of General Motors was quoted as saying that cars will change more in the next 5 years than they have in the last 50. I put those two things together, and over the last 5 years, the way I've looked at collision repair and the work that I've done has been completely different from what I was doing before. There's so many changes that have to happen. We went years, we had absolute years saying, oh yeah, change, well, this is a little bit different, that's a little bit different, something's changed, and nobody took it seriously, and you didn't really have to. Yeah. And that developed a really tricky culture of not paying much attention. And now, over the last 5 years, we have to pay attention. So fixing cars properly has become, it's become something of a passion of mine. It's reinvigorated my interest in the industry.
Wow, that's and that's just a slice of your story. And it's interesting you started on that change theme. So I believe your business, Tsawwassen Collision, was established in 1995, and you've seen been on that change curve. And I think it's probably fair to say it's been more rapidly accelerated in the last 5 years. Speaking of change, though, that brings me to my next point in this discussion is we've seen. Rapid's not even the word. Massive doesn't even properly describe it. What we've experienced in the last 60 to 90 days with the impact of COVID-19. Can you talk a little bit about, Peter, how you've adapted to, this pandemic that we're living through and what you've done in your business to adapt?
I can. For the first month, for the first several weeks of it, there was no planning. There was nothing to plan. There was barely anything to adjust to. It was really just a question of coming into work every day and saying, okay, what is happening today? What is happening today? Can we project that for several days out? We very quickly, maintaining good respectability and honor to our suppliers, and more particularly being very cognizant of our employees, we very quickly at the beginning said, okay, what can we do here to reduce some costs? Temporarily, otherwise, what can we do because we don't know what's coming on? And then we started to adjust to it. I wrote a document 3 weeks ago, probably a month ago, to my advertising creative people. That document, which I really can't remember what it is now, the most important part of it was the title, and that was this week, next month, and the rest of the year. Because by then we could start seeing, okay, this is what this week is, this is maybe what next month, and this is what the rest of the year will be, maybe. So we started to work towards that. The other very important thing that we've done, in fact, this was the this week part of it. We changed some stuff on our website that said, up till then, everybody's all excited about COVID-19 cautions, COVID-19, how to do this, how to do that, how to make sure you don't touch anything you don't have to touch, how to let people be comfortable, how to pick up cars, how to drop off cars, how to do all this stuff. But by that point, 3 or 4 weeks into it, we realized maybe we should remind people, it's okay, we've got this part of it sorted out. You know, we've got the being careful part of it sorted out, but you didn't bring your car to us for us to be careful with it. If you wanted your car kept clean, you'd keep it to yourself. What you brought your car to us for was for proper repair. So we are not going to skirt the proper repair thing as we're pretending how important it is to keep it clean. The COVID-19 thing will eventually be behind us, but that repair we do now will be with you and with your car for a good stretch of time. So we're emphasizing that, okay, here's what we do, but here's what we do in the process of doing our proper repairs. It's not an excuse to do the repairs poorly. And then where that takes us for the rest of the year, I think that all the stuff that I've been preparing for the last 5 years is the requirement for that will accelerate. People will realize that, you know, there's probably something to preparedness. There's probably something to looking to the future. There's maybe a reason why we should pay attention to how our cars are being repaired.
I'm sure that's a point that resonates with anybody in the industry who's paying attention to what's going on and all the rapid changes coming from the manufacturers. When you look at all of those things, because it sounds like, Peter, this has caused you to be, you know, a little bit more agile in your thinking, breaking things out to, you know, I only know the next week and then maybe the next month. And I'm sure you've instituted lots of different processes and procedures in response to the situation. And it's anybody's guess, you know, what the rest of the year looks like. So I think you're very prudent in your planning and your thought process. Is there something, though, that stands out as a process improvement that you've implemented because of this situation that you have actually identified? This is something that is a new component that I'm going to keep within my business because it actually makes me a better operator. It makes me more efficient, or it's better for the client or the employee, or something along those lines.
Not in a big way, John. Perhaps the one thing, and for several years we've been thinking, as the business gets more complex and we keep having to add front-end people, man, our office space is getting tight. You know, right? Our office space is getting tight. And yep, it is getting tight. And last year, over 18 months ago now, because these things take forever, there's a building right beside our leased building, and by right beside, I mean within the same compound and 8 feet away. And it was a bit of an albatross for the landlord. So I said, okay, let's do something here. So we did a very complicated and very expensive renovation. We took that building over, reconfigured it to work for automotive, moved the repair bays, moved 4 repair bays down to there. Primary objective of that being to free up a bit of space, but also allow us to expand our office. As this came on, we were 80% of the way finished with that, and now we are 95% finished, and we're working in that new office space. I mean, we'd be dead without it. I mean, this was not, you know, this was not, I said, if I had decided a month ago I need new office space, we'd be putting up a tent somewhere. So it's very important. Before it was finished, I had 4 people working in our office, and we'd had 5, and one of them was having to stay home. We were having to rotate who stayed home for the week. What else I've been doing has been, to me, fairly consistent, fairly predictable, but the ability to expand our office space, move people around, make customers feel far more comfortable when they come in because they've got a lot more room. That's one that will certainly stay with us.
Yeah.
And then some of the simple things of, you know, remote communication and contact.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's something the industry has been, I think, dancing with, is the way I describe it, for the last, you know, 18 months to 2 years, photo-based estimating. It's interesting you pointed out the office space piece, because, you know, I recently read an article that talked about shared workspaces or some of these communal workspaces where people sit at cafeteria style tables, shoulder to shoulder with the person beside them. And that's really been popularized in the last 5 to 10 years, and how that could potentially drastically change in a post-COVID world. So it's interesting. You pointed out, Peter, that having a larger office space is a component of making the customer feel more comfortable when they come to visit your business, as well as your employees. And layering that in with all of the other things that you've been preparing for and planning for well before COVID was even in our imagination. My fourth question to you would be, what are you most proud of, Peter? So forget about COVID for a second, because you've been running Tsawwassen Collision since 1995, and I'm sure you have lots of accomplishments and milestones. What would you say is the thing that you're the most proud of? And it could be a recent accomplishment that you would want to highlight.
On this one, I'm going to give a bit of a surprising answer. What I'm most proud of is the investment that I've made and the foregoing of profit because of my belief in what needs to be. There are speakers to the industry who I've lost respect for because they keep dumping work onto, well, here's what the estimator can do, then he can do this, and then he can do that. And the sort of thing where they suggest that figuring out how to fix a car is a little corner of the desk thing for an estimator, while he's also sorting out parts prices, while he's doing the scheduling, while he's keeping the customers happy. And or somebody else that said, yeah, you push the button, you print out the 35 pages of all data and you give it to the tech. Oh, come on now, who's kidding who? You're not doing anything with that. So 2 years ago, I said, all right, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And this did nothing but cost me money. But I hired a researcher, an engineer level systems engineer who said, okay, I need you in the background backing up my estimators. And I needed somebody not that knew cars, but somebody who had the discipline of writing reports. He has no customer contact, he has no insurance company contact. He just works for the estimators and comes up with, great, here's the car, here's the structure, here's the electronics, here's what you have to do to fix it. Rather than sort of sit back and wait to be told what to do or wait until something's developed, I'm gonna take the lead. I'm gonna see if I can develop some ideas myself. So I'm proud of that.
That's fantastic, Peter. That's very unique. That demonstrates the characteristics of a business owner who is in control of their destiny and probably has a little more foresight than maybe most, because investing in R&D, I think, is something that you'll never regret. And you saw a trend in the industry and you responded to it. And ultimately that equates to a safer repair for your customers and probably a more efficient throughput as a result for your shop after some upfront investment. The last thing, and this is what I close with, I ask everybody this question, Peter, is amongst your community, when we talk about the brand of Tsawwassen Collision, what do you want to be known for amongst your community and with your customers?
Something that's actually a little bit hard to attract attention to, but is that idea that we repair your car, it's going to be repaired right, and what we have trouble with is that correct repair to you looks exactly the same as a bad repair. But we're not going to do a bad repair. We're going to do, because the stuff that has to be done right is largely invisible. And we're going to do that. We're going to do those repairs properly.
Yeah.
And if we do it right, it's possible to do, but it's not easy. It's a cultural thing. Yeah. It's an integrity thing. It's a commitment to here's what we want to do.
And I think you nailed it with the word integrity, Peter. That's what you just described there. So that's a phenomenal thing to be known for. Just to recap, started in business in 1995, observing rapid industry trends and change and making long-term investments in your business, sometimes at a loss in things like research and development to stay ahead of those changes and that curve, and wanting to be known in your community and amongst your customers as a business with integrity and who's focused on repairing the car right and doing the right things even when nobody's watching. So those are great things to be known for, Peter. Final plug, where can we find you online?
TsawwassenCollision.com. So you have to figure out how to spell Tsawwassen.
Excellent. So Google's good at auto-correcting, and it is a tongue twister if you haven't said it yet. You can also find Tsawwassen Collision at crashbay.com, part of our online marketplace. Peter, thank you for sitting down with me today for your 5 and 10. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, John.
Great. And please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe if you want to hear the genuine stories of real business owners like Peter directly from their lips. Please follow us on YouTube and watch for more business owner interviews from crashbay.com.